I want to issue a word of caution. A caution to people who only look at the present and not at the bigger picture. The people who think that the lack of a current disaster means that the problems discussed aren't as bad as they seem. Here's a hypothetical example. Say there's a prediction that an outbreak of disease will inflict the town. The local health authorities lock down early. They quarantine the infected early. They perform aggressive contact tracing. They hand out masks. They inoculate the healthy quickly. The outbreak comes and passes. Few people get infected. Even fewer die. People emerge from their homes and criticize the health authorities for overreacting. This outbreak wasn't so bad. It was more benign than the flu. We don't lock down for the flu. This is the preparedness paradox. The paradox is that preparing for a disastrous event makes that event seem a lot less severe than it actually is, which makes the preparations seem unnecessary. What the townsfolk don't realize is that the reason the outbreak wasn't that bad is because of all the preparations the health authorities took. Early lockdowns, fast quarantining, proactive contact tracing, masking, vaccinations, all of those things made the outbreak a lot less deadly than if nothing was done. Yet because the outbreak of disease was made less dangerous, people incorrectly assumed that it wasn't that bad to begin with, and so slammed the preparations as unnecessary. And because of that perception, they'll oppose future preparations for future outbreaks, citing them as overreactions to benign problems. When that happens, lessons of the past are forgotten, and we collectively let our guards down, afflicting us with disasters that we should have learned from. Or, at the very least, we get the mistaken perception that preparedness is just irrational paranoia. Here's a real-world example. Remember acid rain? No? That's a good and a bad thing. Acid rain was a serious issue in the 1970s when scientists realized that the sulfur dioxide we were emitting into the atmosphere was getting into our rainwater and severely damaging the environment. So, in the 1990s and early 2000s, the US and Europe put together regulations that cut back on sulfur dioxide emissions. Heck, the US clawed back 93% of its sulfur dioxide emissions. That's a success story. Acid rain wasn't a non-issue. It was an issue that we solved. That's why we don't talk about it anymore. It was a problem, we took action, and we solved it. Our solutions to the problem aren't overreactions. Our solutions solved the problem. Another example, Y2K. The issue arising from computers using only 2 digits to denote the year, meaning that they couldn't handle the transition from 1990 to 2000. I'm not gonna lie, some of it was ridiculous, like building bunkers and stockpiling ammunition. But the reason why Y2K turned out to be a bit of a nothing burger is because of all the effort that went into updating old date formats to use 4 digits for the year. When the year 2000 rolled around, most systems had been updated and could handle the transition seamlessly. And before people think that nothing could have possibly gone wrong, things did go wrong for the systems that hadn't been updated. There was a problem. People fixed it, and it brought to light the issues that computers face with timekeeping. Are we ready for the year 2038 problem? What I'm trying to get at is that it's very easy to fall into the trap of complacency when you don't have first-hand experiences of when things really go wrong. Don't view your current lack of adversity as a sign that the world isn't as bad as it seems. Lessons are written in blood and are forgotten by people who have never bled.